All right, so today we're going to be taking a look at the 7 most useless arenas right now in America, and this is just my personal criteria. Basically, how I'm judging these arenas. Do they have a current tenant based on their capacity? Is it realistic? Some of these are like really low mid-tier colleges playing at arenas that have crazy capacities, and I'm really basing it off of like, do they have tenants? What's their history? How obsolete are they right now? It's kind of a mixture here, but the first arena we're going to be talking about, the biggest arena right now in the United States, the Greensboro Coliseum Complex. The Greensboro Coliseum Complex, which first opened in 1959, it's gone through a number of renovations. It has 8 different venues, including an amphitheater, and it does have a very dated exterior. The interior, they changed the seating, and it does look better and more modern, but you can see it does host UNC Greensboro college basketball games. They always have to bring the curtain down when UNC Greensboro plays there to cover some of the empty seats. Of course, UNC Greensboro, not the biggest university in the world. You do not need the biggest arena in the United States, but that's what they have located in North Carolina. It has hosted the ACC tournament 23 times since 1967, but in terms of this stadium being useless, for the amount of seats that it has, 25,000 for an arena, you should have some type of professional sports franchise or a big-time college university. It really doesn't have either of those things. And the fact that it's located in Greensboro, I don't think they're getting an NBA expansion team anytime soon or an NHL relocation team. So they're pretty much stuck with this thing. And it does host concerts, different events, wrestling events, the ACC tournament. The interior is renovated. We'll give it that. Also, it's currently the home of the Greensboro NBA G League team since 2016 and the Carolina Cobras, an NAL League team since 2018, whatever that is. The next useless arena in America, it is the Tacoma Dome, located in Washington State. Just a real retro design, the kind of oval shape exterior, and then the interior, the seats are not fitted at all. It is kind of funny to see that. They're just kind of thrown up there. It's not like they're, custom fit to the way the roof goes. This is a very old dome that was built in a response to the King Dome going up in Seattle. They wanted their own arena event center in Tacoma, and that's how this got built, and they were trying to draw an NHL team, which never ended up happening. Washington did end up getting an expansion team, the Kraken, but they play in Seattle. So right now, the Tacoma Dome really doesn't have any tenants to speak of. They hosted the Supersonics for a few years, NCAA Women's Basketball Championship, but the Tacoma Dome really doesn't have any tenants to speak of right now. That makes it pretty much useless, along with its big capacity and its outdated design. It does deserve a spot on this list. Really, kind of obsolete dome located in Washington State. And you can see the design of it right there. It is pretty much useless. They do host like rodeo events and stuff like that, but the interior of it, it would be kind of cool if they remodeled it and made it like a glass, structure, glass exterior that could let in natural light, but what's the purpose of that? It's not like they're getting an expansion team from anywhere. Every big-time sports team is located in Seattle, not Tacoma, so nothing is coming their way, and it's just kind of sitting there rotting right now with no main tenant. Next, it is the Oakland Arena, which was formerly Oracle Arena. Very, very famous, hosted all of those huge games for the Warriors late in its twilight years. This was a very nice arena. It just got completely outdated due to its age, and that's why the Warriors had to move into the Chase Center. The exterior of it is a dead giveaway. With NBA arenas, all of their interiors tend to look very similar, but when you look at this arena's exterior, it looks completely abandoned. Currently, there is no main sports tenant for the Oakland Arena, and all it does is host like concerts and magic shows, things like that. It is located right next to the Oakland Coliseum, making it one of the more embarrassing locations in terms of, stadium/arenas, with it being so old, along with the Coliseum situation. It is very sad. I would not be surprised at all when the Coliseum gets knocked down, very likely in a few years, if Oakland Arena went along with it. It's very hard not to call it Oracle, but Oracle actually just ended up taking over AT&T Park in San Francisco, so that's kind of how that whole saga worked out. But that is a big space that they're going to have to repurpose with all of the parking. Oracle, again, it's legendary, but at this point, it's just sitting, doing not much at all with a capacity around 20,000. It is a useless stadium with an obsolete, outdated design at this point. The next one is very unique. It is T-Mobile Center, located in Kansas City, Missouri. It is one of the main reasons that Kansas City is considered a favorite to get a potential relocation from the Arizona Coyotes. Also, it's been talked about maybe an NBA expansion team. It's got a very unique design with kind of straight glass going around the exterior. The stadium was originally called the Sprint Center, and then it became the T-Mobile Center, so the lighting changed because T-Mobile is like purple or whatever, and Sprint is like, yellow. The lighting around the arena changed, and I think it might have changed for the better, honestly, with how it looks right now. The interior of it reminds me of the Mercedes, or not Mercedes-Benz anymore, but the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. It just kind of has that look in terms of seating. It's not the exact same. It's like the mini version of it. That's what it does remind me of. And maybe it's not going to be useless. Technically this is a very nice arena, but it's just kind of a weird situation. It doesn't have any main tenant. It does host the Big 12 championship game a lot. Why wouldn't it? It is a beautiful arena that's relatively new. But I do think the reason it's on this list for me is because it doesn't have an NHL team, it doesn't have a college basketball team, it doesn't have an NBA team. So it's kind of just in that weird position. It's trying to draw one of those, but right now it doesn't have any main tenants. You can just take a look at that. Really no one to speak of. Right now I would say it is useless, not useless in the form of, it can't be used anymore. More so useless in there's really no team to put there right now. So it's in a spot where it's useless. So that's why it's on my list, if that does make sense. Next, it is the BOK Center. And this has a really unique exterior design just looking at it. Located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Originally I was thinking when I saw this arena, maybe it could get an NBA expansion team, until I thought, it's located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's already the Oklahoma City Thunder. There's no way they would put two teams there. So at this point, it is kind of obsolete based on its current tenants. There was a lot of work and a very high emphasis that went into the exterior architecture design of this stadium, and it is very, very cool. No doubt about it. It has a modern interior. It went up in 2005, so it is a younger stadium in terms of years. Take a look at its tenants. Ouch. ECHL, what is that? The Tulsa Oilers. So right now, I think due to its location, it's kind of just sitting there rotting. It did host a WNBA team for about 6 years to 2015, but other than that, really nothing to speak of. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, it's going to be very hard to get any crazy good use out of it. It is sad because it is a really cool stadium design on the exterior. Next, it is the Freedom Hall. So we're getting back to the old designs, just taking a look at the exterior of this. Very, very outdated. It is most famously known as being the home to the Louisville Cardinals from 1956 to 2010, their main tenant. And now it is home to a mid-major college basketball team. You take a look at the interior of it, completely outdated design. I guess you can say decent seating. It's got a very, very, not even really an upper deck, kind of just a bigger lower bowl, a two-section approach, but kind of a wall of seating on each side. The big problem with this arena, Freedom Hall, is the exterior design. It would need a complete remodeling. It looks horrible. It reminds me of like Smoothie King Arena with the New Orleans Pelicans or Sleep Train Arena, the former home of the Sacramento Kings. It is really bad. And Louisville moving out, the KFC Yum Center now going up. It's taken all the concerts away from Freedom Hall, so I would say at this point it is pretty useless. Again, it does host a college basketball mid-major team. The issue is it has such a high capacity. You're going to have so many empty seats. It's going to be a terrible environment. Unfortunately, that's what tends to happen with these bigger stadiums hosting smaller college basketball teams. And then lastly, it is Simmons Bank Arena, located in Little Rock, Arkansas. Right now, it doesn't have any main tenants to speak of, and it does have a capacity sitting right near 20,000 people. Being located in Little Rock, this is another one. It is hard to get teams to go there. You're not getting any expansion team from any major sport. If you're not hosting Arkansas basketball or the women's basketball or something like that, you're pretty much just let to rot, and that's kind of what's happening right now to Simmons Bank Arena. It really has not had any major tenants outside of Arkansas Little Rock from 1999 to 2005, but other than that, I would say it's pretty obsolete and pretty outdated in terms of its design, and really the capacity is just far too much. It's mainly known for hosting graduations. When you look it up on Google, that's mainly the photos you'll get. So that, that's not a good sign. And then I'm sure it also hosts concerts and magic shows and stuff like that. But the issue is when you have a capacity like this, you would normally like to see at least a college basketball team call it home, and with this situation being in Little Rock, it just makes it really hard. So I would consider this arena to be pretty useless at this point. But guys, those are just 7 useless arenas in America right now in 2023. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.